Make Believer. It's my first video. It's my first video of 2020. Of 2020. It's my first video. It's my first video. In today's video, I am doing the New Year's book tag, and there are 7 questions in this tag. I will link the original tag below. Question 1 is, how many books do you plan to read in 2020? Now, this year, I plan to read 24 books, which is 2 books a month. I used to do 36 books, so I'm cutting it down by 12 books. This year, I have a lot of writing commitments and things going on, plus stuff that isn't writing or book related, but that I want to get done. So I'm cutting it down to a number that I know I can definitely meet, and that way I'm not putting pressure on it, and reading still stays fun, and I still get to dive into 24 amazing worlds and have a great time. And if I read more than that, which I probably will, that's awesome, but if I don't, that's okay. Question 2 is, name 5 books that you didn't get to last year but that you want to prioritize for this year. For this one, I actually only have 4 books, but there is 1 book that I'm throwing in there because it's coming out this year in March, hopefully, and it is a high priority on my 2020 reading list. So starting with that one, that is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. She is definitely one of my all-time favorite authors. I have loved everything she's written, some things more than others, but still loved it. And Crescent City is one that she's written for adults, so the ones that she writes now are for young adults, which I love, but she's writing a adult fantasy one, and that I'm really looking forward to based on everything that I've read from her so far. So yay! So that is definitely a priority on the reading list of 2020. However, it is not a book that I didn't get to last year because it wasn't out last year. So the 4 books from last year that I wanted to read but didn't get to are the one that I'm currently reading, which is A Conjuring of Light. Now, I did get to A Conjuring of Light by my other favorite author, V.E. Schwab, but I got to it in December, and then I went on holiday, and so I read it like a few pages here, a few pages there. So I'm still making my way through it because it is a bit of a beast of a book, and to be honest, I'm deliberately taking my time with it because it is the last in the series and I don't want it to end. The second book that I want to read this year is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, my 3rd favorite author of all time. Not in order, by the way, she's just one of my favorite authors of all time. Probably next month or the month after, when Crescent City comes out, I'm just gonna go on a big book buying shopping spree, and Ninth House is going to be one of them. The second book that I bought last year, planned to read last year, didn't get to read it last year, and planned to read this year is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. It is the 6th, I believe, the 6th and final book in the Throne of Glass series. I have gone up and down with these series, some ships and other things not going the way that I wanted to go, but I am still really looking forward to finishing it off. The story is still epic, the characters are still amazing, and I need to know how it ends. So I will definitely be reading Kingdom of Ash in 2020. And the final book that I plan to read this year that I wanted to read last year and didn't get to, you may be seeing a pattern here in terms of my authors, is City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. So this is a book that she wrote a very long time ago, but I believe it only got published very recently, maybe 2018, 2019, but like the big hype was last year, and I really want to get to read it. Question 3 is, what genre do you want to read more of? So last year I believe I said I wanted to read more contemporary, but then actually I didn't. I mean, I enjoyed it, but just not as much as I enjoy fantasy. But however, I have decided that I want to narrow down the fantasy a little bit. I mean, I'm still going to read all types of fantasy, darling, but I would like to read more paranormal romance because I was always a very broad fantasy, just fantasy, dragons and shifters and blah. But lately, I think possibly through Sarah J. Maas and actually V.E. Schwab as well, I just realized that I really love the romance dynamic. And actually, in my own books that I write a lot of romance dynamics, and I thought actually I would love to read more fantasy romance, so paranormal romance. Question 4 is to name 3 non-book related goals. So of course, a lot of my goals this year are writing related, but I feel like that's very close to book related because I'm writing books. So not putting in my writing goals of the year, which I have a lot. I would say that my top goal is to do more outside dancing Freedom Fridays because I did one, which you guys have seen, in England in the market, and though people looked at me like I was completely crazy and I didn't have the music, so I probably looked completely crazy, I actually had a lot of fun doing it. It was much easier in the whole editing front because of course I had the backdrop of outdoors outdoors. So I definitely plan to do more outdoor Freedom Fridays, and also just fun, happy songs, not necessarily songs with a profound message, but songs with a profound happy beat that just make people feel good and put people in a good mood. My second goal of 2020 that is not book related is the crow. So the yoga pose where you go up on your hands and your legs are in the air and whatever. I plan to master that this year. I have started practicing and actually I managed to hold it for like a second and a half, you know, Mississippi. So one Mississippi drop. So I do believe that I will definitely master it. And my third goal of 2020 is to do more things that make me happy. So to hang around with more people that like to do the same things that I like to do and that I find fun. So people that like to dance, and people that like to read fantasy books, and people that like to write, and people that like to do yoga, and so on and so forth, and just have a good time, and people that like to go out and watch crazy movies that are made for kids like Spies in Disguise, which I absolutely loved. You know, I want more fun in my life and to do more things that make me happy. Question 5 is, what book have you had forever that you still need to read? And I am embarrassed to say, and if you've been following me for a while, you will also feel the shame. It's Game of Thrones. I have literally had it on my shelf for about 4 years, if not more. I think it's more. And every year, or almost every year, I've said, this year. And I still haven't read it. I have started it, and I am reading it because, you know, I'm partway through, but I'm reading it in chunks here and there, and then a new pretty shiny book comes out, and it's a shorter book that I can devour quickly and then go on to the next. And so Game of Thrones keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So I'm not even going to put it on my reading list of this year, but it is a book that I do plan to read that I have still not completed. Question 6 is, name one word that you're hoping 2020 will be. And I think I made it quite obvious that for me, my aim for 2020 is to have fun. So my word of 2020 is fun. So I'm always going to think before doing something, am I going to have fun doing it? Question 7 is the 7th and final question of this tag, and it is tag somebody. And as always, I tag all of you. So I tag all of you to do the New Year's book tag, and if you don't read, then substitute it for something else. I don't know. How many lessons of piano do you plan to do this year? If you like piano lessons or art lessons, don't substitute books with whatever you want, but I tag you to do this tag and get back to me with your answers. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy this video, then please give it a thumbs up / like. And if you like all my other videos, then please subscribe / follow. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye!